Chosen ones, welcome. Your journey is anything but ordinary. The way you rise, the way success finds you, it baffles those who try to understand it through conventional means. They whisper, they wonder, but they'll never truly grasp the divine flow that fuels your path. Much like the people who unexpectedly enter your life, your blessings don't always come in predictable ways. God doesn't send what is expected. He sends what is needed. The relationships, opportunities, and even the wealth that come your way are divine disruptions, designed to shift, challenge, and elevate you. Let them question. Let them speculate. The source of your abundance isn't meant to be understood. It's meant to be lived. Keep moving, keep growing, and let your success remain a mystery they'll never solve. These individuals won't always show up with a wonderful soundtrack or a radiant aura. They may seem as the direct buddy who tells it like it is, or even as the complete stranger who appears to have a deeper understanding of your emotions than you have. This is your sign. If you've been praying, waiting, or even given up on a breakthrough, God is sending a selected someone your way. Be advised, nonetheless, that they may not appear exactly what you had in mind and that they most likely won't blend in well with your comfort zone. Hold on tight, since heavenly encounters don't knock lightly. You won't want to miss it, I promise. They open the door wide. First of all, human timetables do not align with divine timing. God doesn't follow your timetable. When you feel ready, or when everything is ready, He doesn't send you people. Usually, divine timing seems disorganized. It appears when you're worn out, perplexed, or perhaps wondering whether God is even listening. You may be going through a difficult time financially, experiencing heartache, or just being in a phase when nothing makes sense. When someone you've picked turns up, it's generally as a lifeline in your maelstrom, rather than as a prize for your unwavering trust. Ironically, we often overlook these folks because we're preoccupied with finding the ideal opportunity. However, God doesn't work in the time frames we construct. His time is not about convenience, but about purpose. The appropriate individual can show up during a storm rather than after it has passed. And sometimes, their presence is what gives you the strength to weather the storm or soothes it. It's possible that this individual won't arrive with flashing lights to signal their significance. They could appear in subtle ways that only become apparent in retrospect. However, their influence cannot be denied. You didn't realize you needed to hear the things they say. They encourage you to go outside your comfort zone. They tell you that you're not forgotten by appearing in the voids left by your brokenness. Though it doesn't always seem lovely, God's timing is always ideal. You just need to be open to seeing heavenly appointments. You don't need to be prepared for them. You begin to see the miraculous when you stop expecting things to happen the way you want them to. Therefore, don't discount the unexpected. Your life's disruption can be the signal you've been seeking. Second, they may not be there to stay. God doesn't put everyone into your life to be there forever. Accepting the fact is difficult, particularly when someone has a significant influence on your path or your emotions. When someone seems important to us, we often wish to keep them around because we believe their presence will last forever. However, sometimes their duty is seasonal, and God's plan includes their departure. We often make the error of believing that all meaningful relationships must last a lifetime. However, God sends individuals with certain tasks during particular times of year. Some are there to open a door you couldn't open for yourself, teach you a lesson, or get you through a difficult moment. They may need to move on when their mission is accomplished, not because you did anything wrong, but because their part of your tale is over. Holding on to someone who is just supposed to be around momentarily might really hinder your progress, because you're holding on to what is comfortable and familiar. You lose out on the next step that God has planned. Yes, it hurts, but if you believe God, you know that He will send the next person when required, just as He sent the first one at the correct moment. The beauty of this fact is that those who are really God's chosen ones leave behind something, whether it is development, strength, or knowledge. Their influence doesn't diminish even after they go. Therefore, celebrate what they contributed into your life and express gratitude for the season you spent together rather than lamenting their departure. Sometimes the key to moving into something larger is letting go, because God's plan is always bigger than your attachments. Thirdly, they could test you rather than reassure you. The people God sends your way aren't always there to make you feel at ease. Indeed, they have the power to rock your universe. We want to believe that spiritual relationships are gentle and lovely, brimming with serenity and understanding right away. However, sometimes the person God sends may present you with uncomfortable, even frustrating challenges. When you would like to remain in your comfort zone, they will challenge your justifications, point out your blind spots, and encourage you to improve. Because they reveal reality you've been avoiding, their comments may hurt. They won't ignore your fears or condone your negative behaviors. And that friction is often the spark you need to change, even if it may be difficult to embrace at the time. God is more aware than anybody else that growth never occurs in comfort. He often sends you individuals that challenge your routine, make you think outside the box, and make you confront aspects of yourself that you'd like to avoid because of this. Even while it may seem like they're treating you harshly, they're really helping you become the person God intended you to be. The difficulty is in accepting these individuals for who they are without dismissing them because they don't align with your ideal of support. Not all chosen individuals are cheerleaders. Sometimes, they are coaches who challenge you to achieve goals you never imagined possible. Their directness does not imply a lack of affection. You will emerge from the struggle stronger, wiser, and more like the person God intended you to be if you are prepared to accept the fact that they were sent to disturb you for a purpose. Number 4. Your task will change as a result of their arrival. It's seldom simply about friendship or direction when God sends someone your way. It often indicates that your task is changing. Despite our desire for more, we have a tendency to get used to our routines. However, since divine connections are change agents, rather than just individuals, they have a way of upsetting that ease. Their coming is a watershed. They may provide chances that test you, or offer fresh viewpoints that change the way you see your mission. Suddenly, you may no longer find fulfillment in things that used to seem significant. That job you believed to be the ultimate objective, it feels constricting now. That dream you had been working toward, it must be improved. God doesn't send His chosen ones to keep things the way they are. They are there to help you advance to the next phase of your task. The challenging aspect is that this change often necessitates relinquishing familiarity. It's challenging since comfort comes from familiarity, but you will remain static if you hang on to things that no longer fit. Because development and expansion need pain, divine movements are inherently unpleasant. Observe how your life changes after this individual joins it. Are doors opening up? Is something more stirring in your heart? Are you being called by God to a higher degree of leadership or obedience? Don't let your preoccupation with maintaining the past drive you to overlook the warning flags. God's timing is exact, and His plans are always progressing. The individual who was sent to you did not appear at random. They serve as a sign that God is getting you ready for more. Even if the process seems disturbing, have faith in it. Anything you're inclined to cling to right now will pale in comparison to what awaits you on the other side of this change. Fifth, the selected individual could be hiding. Don't expect someone God has selected for you to come with a spotlight and a flawless CV. Indeed, they may appear in ways that cause you to completely doubt their significance. They might be the quiet person in the room, the one everyone ignores, or even someone whose demeanor irritates you. However, God isn't in the business of meeting our demands. He overcomes the unforeseen. Because we often make snap judgments based on looks, status, or first impressions, it's easy to overlook these individuals. We reject someone if they don't seem, sound, or behave like we believe a chosen one should. However, supernatural connections aren't often presented in a glamorous manner. Some of the most important individuals in your life will be unexpected. Without attempting, the selected individual may put your pride to the test. Their simplicity may conceal their insight. Their incomprehensible scars may be the source of their power. The issue is that you will miss the person God has specifically chosen for you if you are too preoccupied with seeking someone who meets your standards. The secret to appreciating their worth is humility. It means letting go of your preconceptions and being receptive to the idea that God is more knowledgeable than you. You may learn the most valuable lessons from the one who annoys you the most. Sometimes, the precise knowledge you need is hidden in a gentle presence that no one notices. If someone doesn't match your mold, don't be so ready to dismiss them. God seldom bestows perfection on His finest talents. He conceals them in those who need a closer examination. And all will change when you have the humility to recognize people for who they really are. Sixth, God's selected have the keys to reveal your innermost secrets. God does not bring someone into your life only to be your friend or support system. They exist to reveal aspects of you that have been concealed, disregarded, or buried by uncertainty and fear. They hold the keys to doors you were unaware you had, and everything begins to change as they flip those keys. These folks are able to look beyond your outward appearance. They see promise where you perceive constraints. They recognize the talents that God has placed inside you, just waiting to be developed, even if you have persuaded yourself that you are not good enough. They draw attention to topics you've long written off as unimportant or unachievable. They will encourage you to take on duties you never believed you could handle and breathe new life into goals you had given up on. Their presence might be friendly at times, or bothersome at others, since they won't let you play small. They will question your justifications, cut through your self-doubt, and remind you of your true identity as defined by God. Because they will be confronting the falsehoods you have been believing for years, it may be unpleasant. They serve as a catalyst for the version of you that God always intended, however. The fact that these relationships aren't transactional is what makes them holy. They open you as part of their divinely mandated task, not for their own gain. Seeing you embrace your destiny brings them delight. You'll look back after they've done their job and see that their presence wasn't simply significant. It was transformative. Therefore, don't discount someone who sees something in you that you don't. Listen carefully. Perhaps they have the secret to the next phase of your life. The seventh is that their remarks will speak to your spirit as well as your intellect. When God brings a selected person into your life, their words strike your soul as much as your ears. It differs from unofficial counsel or views that are shared. Their words carry weight and have a feeling of divine timing that transcends chance. Even if your head hasn't entirely caught up, it seems like they are speaking a language that your spirit already knows. They often echo what God has already been saying to you, which is what makes their words so potent. Perhaps you're attempting to ignore a push from God that seems too dangerous, or you've been doubting yourself and wondering whether you're on the right road. Then, as if out of nowhere, this individual appears and addresses your doubts head-on without even being aware of your inner turmoil. They provide the clarification and validation you were longing for but were unaware of. It's not necessarily dramatic or deep. Sometimes a straightforward phrase has a unique impact because it reflects something you've already experienced deeply. You can tell it's from God because it aligns with what He has already put in your heart. In the best sense, these times may be unsettling, as if God is telling you that He sees you, hears you, and is fully aware of your needs. Even if the speaker is unaware of the importance of what they are saying, you will sense it in your soul. And that resonance is energizing as well as consoling. It gives you the confidence to take action, make that choice, or ultimately follow God's calling. Therefore, don't dismiss someone when their words evoke a feeling that transcends reason and comprehension. One of the most obvious indications that God is at work in your life is that you are in divine harmony. Eighthly, they will put your capacity for unconditional love to the test. It's not always to your advantage when God sends someone you've picked. They may come to you in need of understanding, forgiveness, support, or patience. They may be facing their own struggles, and their purpose in your life is to test your capacity for unconditional love, rather than to encourage you. When someone is acceptable, affirms you, and the connection is mutually fulfilling, it's simple to fall in love. However, God-sent individuals are not always like that. They may be challenging, broken, or even oblivious to the effect they are having on you. Their presence could make you reevaluate your expectations of partnerships and challenge your ego. The purpose of these exams is to hone your heart, not to punish you. God is always developing your ability to love as He does, unconditionally without expecting praise or approval. Real love isn't a business. It provides without keeping score. And sometimes, God reveals if you've really learnt that lesson by the individuals He sends. Perhaps they need forgiveness that you're not prepared to provide. Perhaps they need your silent presence when words cannot ease their anguish. Or perhaps they need grace in their imperfections. Because they make you face aspects of yourself that desire to dominate, condemn, or run away. These situations are unpleasant. However, this is the point of metamorphosis. Loving unconditionally is a strength derived from God's nature, not a sign of weakness. And something lovely occurs when you take on that task. You become a conduit for God's love, providing repair and healing to both yourself and the person He sends. Being flawless is not important. It all comes down to willingness. And the type of love that transforms lives is often the result of that willingness. The ninth is that their departure is just as significant as their entrance. It's simple to concentrate on their arrival when God brings someone into your life. You see them as a present, an indication that something positive is taking place. However, their departure is as crucial, if sometimes more difficult to accept. These folks are not here to stay. They are there to get you ready for the next step. And following God's plan includes letting them go when their time with you is finished. In actuality, not every spiritual relationship is intended to last a lifetime. Some are seasonal and made for a particular function. They offer doors to new chances, teach you valuable lessons, or aid in your own development. However, their position in your life ends when that goal is accomplished, and they have to go on. This does not imply failure or desertion. That is a component of the heavenly rhythm that God has arranged for your existence. They may not have the appearance of a devout individual. They may not talk in spiritual platitudes, wear crosses, or go to church every Sunday. Indeed, they may seem non-religious or even totally out of the ordinary. However, insight shows us that God doesn't work in accordance with our narrow ideas of what a spiritual person ought to look like. He operates via a variety of vessels, and the most potent divine appointments often take the shape of something unexpected. This individual may not exhibit the overt manifestations of spirituality that we have come to identify with religious leaders. They may not even be the kind of person we would typically consider to be God's messenger. However, it is precisely the objective. God often works in strange ways that are invisible to the naked eye. He is aware that the state of the heart and the intent behind each interaction are more important to His work than looks. Wisdom, the capacity to see divine mandates beyond the obvious, is crucial in this situation. The most polished or morally upright individual isn't usually the one God chooses. In order to push your comprehension of his job in the world and test your preconceptions, he sometimes selects someone who doesn't suit your expectations. Their influence could come from a wise remark, a deed of compassion, or a daring action that changes your viewpoint, rather than from flawless piety or religious activity. Therefore, don't be fooled by looks. You should pay attentively even if the person God sends may not resemble the spiritual leader you had in mind. They could be the exact messenger God is using to bring about a change or a message into your life. The deed, not the appearance, is where the divine appointment is found. Number 13, you may have to face what you've been avoiding because of them. When God brings someone into your life, it's usually a challenge, not only for your heart, but for your soul as well. They have a way of bringing out long-buried things, problems you've neglected, injuries you've avoided, and dreams you've repressed all start to come to the surface when they do. They don't come to ease your burdens. They are there to make you face the thing you have been avoiding. It's simple to live your life as if nothing is wrong, ignoring the unpleasant aspects and avoiding the truth about your background, your anxieties, or your untapped potential. However, when the appropriate person is sent by God, they have a way of gently, or not so gently, removing the lid off the box you've closed. Even though they may not be aware of it, their sheer existence highlights the things you've been too scared to confront. It's not comfy. They may even seem to be prying into areas of your life that need to be kept private. However, this upheaval is essential to your recovery and development. No matter how painful it is, they are sent to assist you. Recognize the truth, because you can only go on when you face these hidden aspects of yourself. You can no longer ignore the problems, the suffering, and the dreams you've been ignoring. The purpose of this individual is to challenge you to confront the issues that God has been patiently waiting for you to resolve, not to repair you. Lean into their presence instead of avoiding it. They are being used by God to highlight areas that need restoration, development, or a change of course. When you stop avoiding the truth and begin facing it head-on, their presence may seem like an awakening, but it is an awakening that will bring you more freedom, purpose, and happiness. Divine connections in life's vast tapestry are never arbitrary. It's more than simply a meeting when God brings someone into your life. It's a divine disruption, a deliberate change that brings you into line with a bigger scheme. These individuals are not only friends or acquaintances. They are truth bearers, change agents, and mentors sent to help you enter your next phase of personal development. Although accepting them isn't always simple, their presence is always transforming. Even if they could test you, confront you, or interfere with your comfy routines, every moment they provide is a part of God's plan to help you discover a higher degree of purpose. These selected people don't make you feel good. They don't remain to make things comfortable, and they don't make hollow promises. They are there to guide you toward what you have been avoiding, help you face what you have been avoiding, and help you develop a closer, more genuine connection with God. Therefore, don't discount someone who feels different, who questions your viewpoint, or who rattles your foundations. Conduct a deeper look, pay careful attention, and see how every word they say and every movement they conduct is infused with divine purpose. They may show up out of the blue. It may not always be pleasant to have them around. However, their leaving will only signal the start of a new phase in your life. The influence of God's chosen ones will mold you in ways you won't completely comprehend until you look back, even if they aren't here to stay forever. Even if these heavenly connections force you to confront your worst aspirations or fears, embrace them. They are ultimately the ones who assist you in realizing who you are and what you were destined to be. Have faith in God's plan, respect His timetable, and understand that meeting the perfect person isn't simply a chance to meet. It's a spark for something great. If you found resonance in this message, don't stop here. To ensure you don't miss any more insightful videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If this resonated with you, please leave a comment below and give it a thumbs up. What struck a chord with you the most, or how God has worked in your life, would be much appreciated. Give this to someone who would benefit from a reminder that there are always spiritual connections at play in the world. When you share, keep in mind that you are distributing purpose rather than simply words. Let's spread the word about this reality by clicking the share button. I appreciate you joining me on this adventure. May you be blessed.